A few years ago, I watched a guy in the Flare community share his passive income setup. He had Flare on one protocol, LPs on a DEX, and a loan open on a third platform. Everything looked perfect until the market dipped overnight. When he woke up, his health factor on his loan had nuked. His position was liquidated and months of stacking were gone in one move. That's when I decided I would never recommend DeFi to beginners without first teaching them how not to get liquidated. This is a safety first beginner's guide, so you learn how to play in DeFi safely. That way, when you deploy your strategy, you do it in a way that actually matches your risk tolerance. Let's get it. All right, before we touch Kinetic, we need to speak the same language. Let's start with what DeFi actually means. DeFi is decentralized finance. It's just finance that runs on blockchains instead of a bank. There is no bank manager, no phone calls. You interact directly with the smart contracts. Smart contracts are code that live on chain and they hold the rules for you. Now, one of the most important building blocks of DeFi is the liquidity pool. A liquidity pool is just a big shared pot of tokens. Lots of people deposit the same token into one smart contract. Others can borrow from that pot or trade against it. And the people who deposit usually earn a little bit of yield for providing that liquidity. And that's it. No magic, no secret club, just a shared bucket of tokens with rules written in code. Once you understand that, Kinetic and the rest of the Flare ecosystem start to make a lot more sense. Don't forget to like so this video reaches more people like you. Now, where does Kinetic fit in all this? Kinetic is a lending and borrowing protocol on the Flare network. You can deposit assets like FXRP into Kinetic's pools, earn supply APY just for depositing, and if you choose, borrow other assets against your deposit. Think of Kinetic as your base camp on the Flare network. I start here because it's built by Rome Blockchain Labs, a battle tested technology, and it's the foundation I use before I branch out into other protocols like Enosys or SparkDex. This video is your episode 1. It's important to understand Kinetic safely first. Then we branch out into other places like Enosys and beyond. Ping the bell notification so you don't miss the next one. Now, let's talk about the 3 terms that matter the most when you're using Kinetic. First one is collateral. Collateral is the asset you lock up so the protocol feels safe lending you something else. Think of it like your security deposit. You put something up, and in return, Kinetic lets you borrow against it. The second term is borrowing. Borrowing means taking another token from the pool as a loan, secured by your collateral. So you deposit FXRP and you can borrow something like USDT0 against it. Your FXRP stays in the protocol, USDT0 is now in your wallet. And the third term, and probably the most important for beginners, is your health factor. Your health factor is simply your safety meter. The higher the number, the safer your position is. If it ever drops to 1 or below, you are in the danger zone. And if it hits that line, the protocol doesn't ask you how you feel. It starts selling your collateral in order to cover its debt. That's a liquidation. And that's exactly what we're going to make sure never happens to you. You keep that number well above 2, and you're in good shape. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay. So now that we have the terminology out of the way and we're speaking the same language, let's put this into a real story so we get it to click for you, okay? Imagine you deposit $1,000 worth of FXRP into Kinetic. The app pops up and says your maximum borrow is $650. Most beginners look at that number and think, cool, free 650 bucks. So they borrow 600. Their health factor sits just above a 1. And as long as the market behaves, hey, everything looks good. But then FXRP has a rough day. The price dips, your collateral is worth less. And that health factor starts sliding down towards 1. At that point, the protocol doesn't ask how you feel. It just starts selling your FXRP to cover the debt. We've seen it and we don't want it. So here's how I want beginners to play instead. Same $1,000 of FXRP deposited. Kinetic still says max borrow is $650, but you only take out between 100 and 130. That's the 10 to 20% range. And you keep your health factor well above a 2. In that version of the story, when FXRP dips, you still feel it. You always feel it when that bottom line drops. But you are nowhere near the liquidation line. You've given yourself a real buffer. And simply put, that's the difference between a beginner who gets wrecked and the beginner who stays in the game. All right, guys. Now we get to the meat and potatoes of it. I am going to give you a step by step on exactly what to do, how to supply collateral, how to take a loan, and most importantly, how to close everything out safely, all in one take. For this demo, if you've watched my previous videos, you know I love my Bifrost wallet. If you want me to do this with a different wallet to make it easier for you, drop it in the comments below and I will make a video with this same process with that wallet. But only if you need me to. Let me know. All right, let's get it. So we start on the Kinetic Markets web page. The link is down in the description. Don't go around fishing for links. Just go to the description and use the link right there. Okay, so we connect our wallet. Go to connect. Go to Wallet Connect. Bifrost. Go to connect. Make sure everything is correct. Then we go right here to the bar right here and we go to supply and borrow. Click on that and I'm going to supply a little bit of FXRP. We got 13 up to max and we approve and supply. Now remember, with Bifrost, when you approve on screen, you got to approve everything in your wallet, which is what I love. It's all secured under your keys. And it's double approval. One for get you giving the permission to move your funds, then the other one for the transaction itself. And boom, you supplied. Then you gotta turn the collateral button on and use enable as collateral use FXRP. Again, back to your Bifrost. And now you can use it as collateral. Just that simple. And we're gonna go right here to the borrow page. Same thing. We go to the ISO market right here. This is what we're checking off for FXRP. It's very clearly labeled. And what do I want to borrow from it? All right, you know something? You look around, you see USDT, they're letting you borrow at 10.83. That's kind of high. Why not do that? I get a 2.2 from staked XRP, so you could get access to both. Or, you know something, 1.68. I'm just going to borrow what I can, and I'll keep it conservative and borrow two. You see, that brings my health, and it gives you here what your health meet factor is going to be right here at 4.55. So that's very safe. We always want to keep that at above 2. And in volatile situations, especially like we are now, 2.5. I don't play around. I don't like getting liquidated. I hope that you play as safe as I do so that you're able to also not get liquidated. And then we borrow. Again, approve everything in your wallet. Make sure everything is correct, all the numbers, everything looks good. And boom, you have now completed borrowing. Look at everything right here. And this is how Kinetic Markets organizes everything. They're very good. The UI, the user interface is awesome. So everything is very clearly labeled. And then when you come on, you find out, all right, my total borrow. So my total, I provided 29 point dollars and 1 cent, and this is my total borrow, $2.86. And then every 30 days, it depends. Yeah, like every 30 days, you're able to claim your rewards. So because you're in the system, this APY and everything that you're earning, you're going to be earning it in our Flare rewards, which look down in for the R Flare video so that you know how to collect those once a month. Now, hey, listen, the market's too volatile. I want to close everything out. I got you. Again, you go to your Kinetic page. You're going to probably start out here in this page in the markets. This gives you everything, but we're going to go to the dashboard. This gives you everything. All you do is, all right, I want to get out of this loan situation because I'm afraid I'm going to get liquidated. Go to repay. I go to max. Insufficient. Yeah, it's all right. It's always going to say that. Right there. You just have to approve this transaction on your phone again. To roll out, so you just go again, yeah, and you close it out. And repayment transaction accepted. You make sure that everything is zeroed out. Remember, you guys are dealing with money, so just like when you receive paper money, you need to make sure that everything looks correct. All right, I like that. Outstanding loan is 0. Done. Closed out of that loan. Hey, you know something? I also want to withdraw all my funds. All right, so you go to withdraw right here. Very simple, easy UI that they provide, and you go to max. I want to take this out. Withdraw everything on your wallet, protected under your keys. Boom. Withdraw my 13. Done. See? Closed out. Now, this is also the option that I talked to you about. You can just throw your stuff in here and in the vaults and just collect the APY, which is what I'm doing with this because it was just in my wallet. So, and I don't have any collateral taken out. As you can see, my health factor is 100. So it's not nowhere near. Remember, you're trying to avoid getting below a 2. If you get to below that 2, just pay the loan back or just provide a little bit more collateral. And that's how you open and close the loan. And guys, I'll repeat, if you need me to do this with another wallet, please drop it down in the description below, leave a comment, and I will. As you can see, they try to simplify everything as much as possible. Please use this video as reference. You can stop it, pause it, go step by step. I try to do everything as slow as possible so that you're able to do exactly that. Okay, so far we're speaking the same language. I've given you a good example, a bad example. Now I'm going to give you 4 rules you can screenshot, write down, tattoo on your arm, whatever works for you. These are the rules I follow to make sure beginners never get liquidated. Rule number 1. You can absolutely use Kinetic as a deposit only platform at first. Deposit your FXRP and earn the APY. Don't borrow yet. No borrow means no liquidation risk on that position. There is zero shame in starting there. Rule number 2. If you borrow small. Stick to 10 to 20% of your maximum borrow and keep your health meter well above a 2. The protocol will let you borrow more than you should as a beginner. Ignore the maximum play. Play it conservatively. And as you gain more experience and understand how the game is played, you can venture a little further. But never, ever, ever let your health meter go below a 2. Now, rule number 3, check your positions. If you have an open loan, check it at least once a day. Look at 2 things, your health factor and the price of your collateral. If your health factor is dropping, you can either pay back part of your loan or add to your collateral before liquidation ever happens. You have time to react, but only if you're paying attention. And last but not least, rule number 4. Only use money you can afford to lose. DeFi has smart contract risks, price risk, and liquidation risk. Even with conservative settings, things can break. Treat this as high risk experimental money, especially while you're learning. Follow those 4 rules, and you are already ahead of most beginners who YOLO max borrow on day 1. All right, let's do a quick recap of everything we just covered. We talked about what DeFi is, finance that runs on blockchains instead of banks. We talked about liquidity pools, shared pots of tokens with rules written in code. We talked about kinetic markets, your base camp on Flare, where you deposit your assets, including FXRP, soon to be FBTC, Flare, Wrap Flare, and whatever stables are on the network, earn yield and borrow conservatively against them. Then we also talked about the 3 terms that matter most: collateral, borrowing, and your health factor. And most importantly, why keeping your health factor above a 2 is your number one job as a beginner. We walked through a real example of what gets beginners liquidated. As well, I gave you a safe example for you to practice safety first. And I gave you 4 simple rules so you never have to learn this liquidation lesson the hard way. This video is your start here for Kinetic Markets on the Flare Network. Bookmark it, share it with someone who wants to get started, help the community stay safe. And of course, come back anytime you need a refresher. Now, the natural next question is okay, I understand Kinetic Markets, I can provide collateral, I can borrow comfortably. What do I do next? The next video I recommend is my Enosys CDP walkthrough. Part one of a 2 video strategy of the week on Enosis, where I show you how to deploy CDP, earn yield, and set up a real position. In part two, we get into liquidity pools, yield, fees, and the risks behind them. And I show you step by step. That's really where things begin to get interesting. Click the Enosis video on the screen right now, or hit the link at the top of the description below. Remember, rich is built smart, not with luck. Forever rich, out.